Hi there, welcome back to my art room. This is Dawn, and today I'm working on the second to last prompt for this 6 months of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Field Notes. And the prompt is a winter visitor, possibly an animal coming into your garden. And that's sort of, maybe not quite as glamorous as I see some pictures of European animals. Our winters in Australia are very different, and where we live, there there's no snow or those sorts of things. But anyway, we have wintry colours, and the greys of winter are predominant, and the grey greens of our trees. We have some deciduous trees, but not as many as we do gums. And I gave it a little bit of a thought. While I was tidying up, I found this little paper pattern of a possum that I did for down the garden path that I thread painted. And for goodness sakes, it just popped out of a box of things. I just was sorting out some buttons and bits and pieces for something. And that little paper pattern fell out. I could not have told you where that was. I would never have been able to find it. In fact, I wouldn't have known that I even kept it. And I thought, oh, well, maybe that's just telling me that a little possum is the thing to put in. Possums seem to be any time of year. They're not particular. They like, in many people's gardens, they like the rosebuds, and they'll raid the fruit trees, but mostly they live in the gum trees, and of course they're nocturnal. We don't see them during the day. And in our previous home, we lived in a more mountainous, bush area that had lots of possums. We've had possums in the house and always possums in the garden. And then just prior to moving, they're the bushy-tailed possums, and just prior to moving, we got a little family of ringtails that moved into the garden but moved on. Anyway, they were there. That's just by the by. Here, we don't see the possums. One night I heard this noise, and next door had a possum in their tree, and if you shine your torch up into the tree, you catch their eyes, but pretty much we don't see them as such. But in this area where we live now, there are deer. We don't have deer at our place, but at my daughter's house, it's only about a half an hour, they have deer. My son has deer. He lives at the base of Mount Dandenong, and he has deer running up the main road. So deer is something we see. And I found this old piece of Laura Ashley fabric that I had in my stash that had deer on it. But in the process of sort of thinking about what I was going to do, I remembered I had this doily that had gum leaves on it, and it's got particularly nasty stains on it that didn't come out in the wash. They're probably a rust stain, and they're not going to come off. But I thought, I haven't used gum leaves all through this project of field notes, and in the area that we live in, where it's known for its flowering gums, we have them up the main road. They're highlighted in pictures around the town, and I thought, really, I know they're probably not flowering in winter, but I've decided that I'm going to use it because I'd forgotten that I actually had this doily. So it's cut in half. I possibly shared it with Willie, I can't remember, but it's got a definite cut down in half of it. So that's possibly where the other half is. So I'm going to cut those out. But I thought before I get started and I also found this doily here that while it's not gum leaves, it's again got some nasty marks on it that didn't come out. But it's got these shapes that remind me of gum leaves. It's the way our gums grow. And I thought over the darker fabrics, that might be something that looks quite nice in there. I don't know, it's probably flower petals or something. I don't know that it's anything in particular. It just is what it is. But I'll cut around areas that don't have a lot of staining. So yeah, so before I get started, I just thought I'd start on this darker background, which I feel like is going to give me a wintry look, and think about where my little possum's going to go. But I thought that I would thread paint him on a piece of, perhaps on a piece of this linen somewhere, because he's only little. And once he's done, I can cut him out and put him in place. But in the meantime, I'm just going to do the normal sort of Cantha style stitching to hold all of this down. And when I've done that, I'll come back to you. Okay, bit of stopping and starting in this video. I'm a bit surprised I've actually got time to do it. So just happens to be a very, very rainy, wet day here today. And so it's a good one for finding some stitching to do. Okay, back in a sec. Nearly done. I really, that sounded silly. I really love doing Cantha stitching. It's probably one of my favouriteest technique, if you like. I suppose you could call it a technique. I just find that once the Cantha stitching is done, the whole piece seems to feel like just one piece of fabric rather than all your bits sewn together. So it's even lovelier when you've got lots of smaller pieces and they all just meld into one piece. It's great. Just think I'd have enough thread to get through there. But anyway, yeah, so I just picked this sort of no colour green thread. Just happened to be one that I had excuse me, just thought it matched. It's a Gutermann thread. It's actually a sulky. It's thicker than some. It's 100% cotton, but the normal like polyester sewing thread is finer than this. Yeah, I don't know what makes this different. Possibly that it's 100% cotton. Oh, look at that. It says made in Italy. There you go. Didn't even know that. I don't need very much to finish off here, but I thought I'd just come back and do a little bit of chitter chat with you before I start cutting out the gum leaves and working out where my little possum's going to go. Cool. So I don't even know whether I asked you before if you're good. Hope you're all doing well. We all are. It's the weekend before we go away on a holiday, so we're looking forward to that. It's just rained all morning. It hasn't stopped. So guess what? All the washing is going to be hanging on the air. Just the one weekend that I might have wanted to get everything completely up to date and get the sheets changed and the towels done so they're nice and fresh for... No, they're going to be done maybe Monday. And they might end up being left on the air, who knows, but hopefully it is predicting rain today, all day, and it's predicting rain for the next 3 days. So yeah, great. But warm. We with that comes some humidity, which is most unusual, especially for this time of year. It's not our normal. We normally have quite dry summers here, but they seem to be changing. So humid it is. Cool. All right, that's where I got to with that. And when it's done, you know, I love the feel of it. Just feels like one piece of fabric. Never, this is a completely new technique to me since I've started with the Roxy's projects. I didn't ever do this before, and to do it now is just lovely. All right, I'm going to cut some of this out to go on the dark, and as I said, it's got some nasty marks on it that I've tried, I've soaked it, I've done what I can. That's it. This is the end of its story. Okay, might as well get it on the right side for a start. I quite liked these ones sort of like coming down here. It reminds me of how a gum leaf grows down, you know, floating down. I know that Australia isn't the only country that has gum trees, but I just thought, oh, there's a red mark there. I don't think anywhere there's, oh, sorry, just whacked you. This one's got some, oh, where are you? Gosh, shot you straight off the screen. There's sort of marks here. I don't know what's worse. Let me see. I might be able to cut around those pinky marks and get rid of them. Yeah, I'm going to give that one. I think this seems to be the better out of all of them. Do I want more than 2? Oh, there's a repair there. But you know what? Kind of like that there's a repair there. All right, let's have 3. And I think I might keep this edging, or no, wait on. No, I think it goes to the inside. I'm just going to have a look. I've started to put, yes, so it's going to go here in my book. I've put this together, but I've created another video about it, so I'm not going to go into it now, but the edge I'm talking about is going to be in. So, yep, no. Fine, that got sorted out in a flash. All right, 3 gum leaves coming up. Oh, and then I quite like those ones. They're kind of nice too. Let me see what that's going to look like if they're coming down there. Still got that bit of repair, but I'm worried that if I cut over that, I'm going to lose it. And I was thinking I was going to go close. All right, let's find another bit. Oh, everywhere is stained. All right, I think I'm going to have these 2 and then go back to those and then find I'm going to cut it here because that's where there's a big mark. It's a shame, isn't it, when you find things like this that have, you know, had something horrible happen to it and don't know what would have happened to it to have created this. It's very worn. I don't even remember where I bought it. It was probably sometimes, you know, when I'm buying things, they sometimes bundle other things up together. But I thought I might leave this sort of branch coming down here just as a... Sorry, coughing in your ear. All right, I'm going to... Do I want big scissors to do that or smaller ones? Maybe smaller ones. Because I just want a little bit of stitching. I want to leave a little bit of fabric to catch, you know, just to applicate on with. But I quite liked the, you know, this cut work. As I said, reminded me of gum leaves, although I don't think it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be some flower thing. But it's all in white, so there didn't seem to be a distinctive. That's all right, that bit's, oh, it's a bit stained. Some of this is then going to end up getting thrown out, I think. But anyway, I'm giving some bits a new life, so that's always good, isn't it? I can rescue some things, some bits. Yep, I thought it might have washed up, but it didn't. And it's been probably starched within an inch of its life, so it's, I think, whatever marks are there are set forever. They'll never come out. So having oh, that's the timer going off. All right. Cool. Yeah, that actually looks like a gum branch, a leaf of gum branches. We have things called ghost gums, but it's the trunk that's white, not the leaves. The leaves are all sort of that grey-green mostly. I have some darker ones, but mostly it's this nice grey-green colour. All right, well, I'm going to go and see if I need to rescue something. Oh, no, maybe Paul's doing it. Okay. Do I want another one up there? Well, what I might do, I'm just going to come back. Got it sorted. I could hear lots of bipping and I thought he couldn't get it to go. Just warming up some lunch. So, yep, that's good. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to cut around that stain and then work out if I can cover it. But first of all, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, is do those, cut them out and then work out where they're going to go after that. Yeah, it's just, it's in lots of places, unfortunately. Oh, and there's going to be a bit of noise that Paul's going to make in the kitchen while he crashes and bashes things around. Sorry. He forgot I was doing this. We're all in today because of the rain. I'm not going anywhere today. Not going out into the garden or anywhere else. It's just a home day. I've got tea in the crock pot, so that's good. I'm supposed to go to a craft market tomorrow. I just hope this rain clears up, or I'll feel very sorry for the crafts people who would have been, you know, hoping for a last hurrah prior to Christmas on their goods that they've spent time making, baking. They're probably all busy baking now and keeping their fingers crossed. Oh, sorry. Shot you off the screen again. Yeah, it's in there. And, you know, once it's on, it might be a little bit disguised, but it might not be quite so obvious. I'm leaving myself a little bit of room because I really don't know how much is going to look okay. But because I've got a fairly plain background where this bit's going to go, you know, I'm not covering up anything. So that's all right. Oh, yep, I'm still with you. That's good. So we, here in this area where we live, we tend to have the red gum blossoms. They're the ones that are prolific here. Not so many yellow. In fact, yeah, I don't think I've seen any yellow ones around here, so maybe they just didn't plant them or they didn't grow or whatever. But the embroidery has just about perished on here. There's some little dots, but there's lines here. Oh, maybe they never finished it. Maybe. Oh, that's all right. I don't mind that. Doesn't worry me that it's not done. I was thinking that the threads had perished. There's lines, you know, but maybe they never actually finished stitching it, which seems a bit odd given that, oh yeah, they would have. Right here, I don't know if you could, if I held it up where you could see it, that'd be good. Tiny little like holes in the linen. Yeah, I'd say a needle has been in there once and maybe just some of those threads didn't last or they didn't finish it, I don't know. It wasn't mine, so I don't know where it came from. Another one that I don't know where it came from. Quite a while ago, I went to a sort of like one of those vintagey sort of places. You know, I don't know if you have them, have lots of different market stalls in them and different vendors. And one of them there had quite a large range of doilies that they just bundled up together, and it was a bit of a lucky dip as to what you got. Of course, you know, some of them weren't really usable and they smelt awful, and I washed them, but not everything came up usable or completely usable, so I don't mind cutting it up. Certainly not one of my family heirlooms. Whoop. Oh, you got a bit close to that one. Oh, they got a bit fancy here. They used 2 colours. They haven't. Oh, yeah, they have done that on the stems. I didn't notice it a minute ago. But it's very flat and very worn, the stitching. You can tell that it's an oldish, quite old, pre-loved. Certainly by all the stains it was pre-loved. Well, hopefully it was loved. I don't know if it was loved. I guess it would have been. I got distracted then. I was just looking at these things. These little hats fall off, you know, once the flowers come out, these little pointy, like a little pointy cap. They actually fall off the gum blossom, and I was just thinking it's nice that they've put them there. A couple of gum blossoms, gum nuts rather, gum blossoms, goodness. And lots of wear in this doily. Oh, yep, there's a few little dots that have look like they've worn off. I might just try and get that one a bit closer because it's a mucky one. All right, I'm going to keep that because I think I'm going to stitch my possum on it. Oh yeah, it's really nice. Oh, it's just a bother, and the bother of it is that it's actually joined. You know, it doesn't matter where I cut it. It's not going to be coverable. Oh, maybe if I take it apart here, which is probably running a risk on that bit of embroidery there, but I'm going to stitch it down, so it would be good if it I don't know if I can put a possum there. What happened to the other white ones? What did I do with them? Here. Yeah, he kind of has to go, but I don't know what I'm going to put in his place. I think if I tuck that up there, I wonder if the possum could go there. He could just be sitting up here in the tree. It really is. It's mucky, isn't it? Oh, what can I do? What can I do? I don't know, unless I... All right, let's have a rearrange. Let's have the pink ones up the top and this yellow one tucked in underneath. Oh, it's very big. All right, get up there. It's kind of the fun of it, isn't it? Laying it all out like a little jigsaw puzzle and remaking it. Oh, well, you know, I guess what I can do is just, I can cut it off and then not worry about it. It's a very busy page. This is almost too much. I'm going to cut those leaves off. I've made a decision. There's nothing nice about them because of that big stain, and this is all there was on that bit of a doily that I had left. So that looks a little bit better, because when they grow, you know, they grow down, hanging off the tree. They don't grow up, they hang down. And that leaf is almost too nice to hide. All right, I'm gonna take that leaf out of there. That doesn't make a lot of sense being by itself, really. And that bit of stem off there seems a bit silly to have. And then, you know, some leaves overlapping is always okay. All right, how does that look? I don't know about that one. All right, I'm going to go. You can see what I'm doing. I'm fiddling around, just putting off, putting on, putting off, putting off, putting off doing it. I'm not putting it off doing it, but sometimes when it gets to this point of the layout, I just have to think about it for a minute. You know, I have to just look at it. And sometimes I take a photo where I just try and work out, you know, what needs to happen where. Yeah, that little possum could hop up in the tree, up in the branches there. He'd probably look all right. He'll be just sort of like greys and things. I'll trace it out on a bit of this linen that's left over from this doily, and embroider him, and then I'll cut him out to applique on as well. So a little bit of work to do yet, but I just can't decide what I want to do with this. It almost feels like it does need to go up, which defies logic because these leaves are going down. All right, I'm going to go away and I'll come back when I think I've got something a bit more pleasing to the eye, which is, feels like it's a bit of a dog's breakfast at the minute. Trouble is that I wanted to use all of it, so that's, you know, some of that's my problem. I'll be back. All right. Okay, a bit of toing and froing, a bit of auditioning, a bit of mucking about. Might have had lunch in the middle of it all. And I think I'm finally happy with a design. I cut the you know, the doily up a little bit tighter, got rid of a bit more of the white, but I'm just conscious of leaving myself some stitching room. And I think I'm happy with this sort of like diagonal sort of like flow to it. I've put my little possum up here just as a bit of a trial, and I think I'm good to go with that. He can sort of sit on that branch. I've just put those cut out leaves behind everything else. Yeah, I think I'm good to go. I'll just tighten things up as I pin them on, but I just wanted to come back and share that with you. Took a little bit of mucking around, but I think I'm nearly good to go. So I'm just going to pin them in place. This bit up here was that bit that was, you know, quite badly stained. I don't mind if he hangs over the edge here. He'll be all right. I don't think it'll come to any harm there, but I do want to take that probably up to the top, I think. Maybe not all the way. I don't think it needs to go all the way. I might trim that little bit off. Yeah, so that's where I'm up to. I thought this branch here could join onto that branch there. And yeah, all of those stained leaves now are hidden, but the bit that was still good is I've been able to maintain that bit, so that feels a bit better. Because they're still quite nice leaves. It was just a shame that so much of it was damaged. There's a bit peeping out there. That's all right. I'm going to just cut that bit off there because I don't need it. I'll just go that way. It'll just get in the way, I think. Gosh, that was hard to cut off. But if I put that there, it sort of is over that that browny bit of leaf. I'm still just trimming things off, getting rid of pointy bits and funny corners. There we go. He can stay there. This leaf can tuck in under there and then come down that side bit there. I might tuck it right in so it's under there. Good. Oop. That was another bit that I just cut off somewhere else. Just making a bit of you know, repositioning everything to make a bit of a collage that still feels like part of the picture. I'm going to get rid of, I think, that bit of leaf there. I don't think it needs to be in here, and that bit of extra stuff there. Yeah, that's all right. And I don't need, how much of that do I want on there still? I might get rid of, oh, do I want to get rid of that bit? Can you see what I'm even talking about? Yeah, I'm just going to cut that bit off and hope it doesn't unravel on me. Oh, gosh, that's like the hardest thing. It must have a bit of like cord or something in it that's you know, for a horrible minute I thought, have I put it on upside down? Oh, for goodness sakes, I did. Isn't that annoying? Is it just, am I just going to deal with it upside down? Yes, I like it. I like the shape of it better there, but oh, bother, bother, bother. Bother, bother. It is, I like the shape of it better, so let's see if I can pull it up here a bit. I just wanted the possum to sit on it. It's just being ridiculous now. All right, if I chuck that end in there, that'll save that. That was crazy. I didn't even notice that when I was doing it. Yeah, that, I think that I've saved to that. Good, because there wasn't much of that that was worth using, so I didn't really want to try and find another bit. As I was cutting these gum flowers out and coming quite close, I think that it just, the stitches have just come undone on those bits there where there's just lines, but I'm not going to do anything about them. I'm happy to leave them like that. They're telling their own little bit of story there. Good. All right, so I've got that little bit of homework to do. Stitching those in place, but I thought if I show you what I'm going to do, I'm not sure if I'll come back and show you the thread painting. I just don't know time-wise how I'm going to go with that, because it may not happen straight away. All right, I'm going to get the possum drawn out on this bit of linen. This is the leftover. It's a shame not to use a bit of that lace edging. It's kind of nice, but I don't know if there's a straight enough piece for it. Which way is the right side and which is the wrong side? Oh, right, so that's definitely the right side. A bit of the lace underneath might have looked nice. Pity it's not straighter. Well, I suppose if it had a wibble in it, it's not going to matter too much, except I've got to find a wibble that hasn't got too much staining attached to it. Let me see. What's this bit like here? Oh, that one's not bad. All right, let me cut that away, and then I'm going to do much the same idea as before, just leave myself a weeny bit of an edge. I just fancied using it just because it was on it. Some of it has caught the stain, so it's not going to really look very attractive. But I just want to see what it'll look like under the leaves there. Coming down the side, it might be overkill. I don't know. I'm hoping to get a bit of Christmas shopping done tomorrow so that I can be a bit organised with that. I don't know. I'll see what happens. After the market, we were planning to go to one of the bigger shopping centres, which on a weekend is never a fun thing to do. And I guess it'll depend on whether we find a car park as to whether we persevere with that, because sometimes that can be, you know, what stops you from doing it. I actually think that it looks all right, like with that down it, do I? Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave it until I actually am done and then make a final decision about that lace, because I don't know. All right, I think there's a piece of linen here that's in a reasonable state with sufficient room for me to cut around as well as embroider, and it's not too badly damaged. All right, so if I just use my pen here to give me that basic outline, just trace around, don't need to redo it. There's lots of ways of transferring a pattern onto something. Lots of people are talking about different ways to do it, but I find that if I'm not going to draw it on freehand, and I've already done this is my drawing, that this is a way for me to do it, but if you want to trace something off another pattern, then yeah, there's a few different ways of doing it that that you might be able to explore. Putting, using a light box, I'm just going to, so this little ear is behind, this little ear is in front here. His little chin comes up there, and this little leg here, nope, this little leg's going to come up in there, and this little leg's behind, and that's it. Need to work out, he's got one little eye here that you really can't see much of, and his other eye, going to give myself a couple of little points. They have quite rounded eyes, and if you stick to round and not too long, you can make him look reasonably friendly. If you do sort of long squinty eyes, that can often give him a look that's a little less friendly. And so long as I colour it and leave a little light, then that's going to work too for him. Cool. All right, I'm going to do some thread painting on that in some greys and browns, so he still looks a bit wintry. I don't think my blossoms are probably as wintry as some flowers are, but I'm happy to use them, and I'm happy to use these sort of grey-green colours because there's a bit of winter about that. Cool. All right, well, I'm going to go away. I'm going to just use a light overcast stitch to get all these bits down, and then I'll concentrate on the thread painting. If I come back I'll let you know, but just in case I don't, this might be it, and you'll see the final thing in a thumbnail. Cool. All right. Have fun with your little winter visitors, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now. Sorry, I thought I was gone, and I'm still here. I just started to think about how I was going to stitch this, and I got out the down the garden path one that I did, where I put the little possum on the tree log. And the thing that I quite liked about it is that it, is stitched into the background. And I was thinking about this one and thinking, cutting him, stitching it and then cutting it out. Maybe I wasn't going to be happy with that. So I'm going to cut him out and then embroider it on the page. And that way, because what I was trying to decide was if I could back it in something, because it's very thin. And then I thought, oh, that's going to look a bit weird when I cut it out, and what do I want to do here? And that's when I went and I thought I'll just go and have a look at that other one where I'd done it originally. And I thought, I know what makes that look quite nice is that it's stitched on. The stitching is done while it's on the piece. So I thought, yeah, I think that's actually what I've got to do. I'm making this hard for myself. Painful for you to watch. And, thinking about the shading and how I was going to do that. And I thought, oh, I need to make some marks so I know where my stitches are going. And, yeah, lots of those sorts of decisions. I don't know if you make some of those decisions when you're doing things. I know that Rachel uses that Solvay. I've got some somewhere. I don't know where it is. I know that it's in my cupboard somewhere, but I thought, no, I'll just couldn't be bothered going looking for it if I want to tell you the honest truth. And thought, I think I'll have a go at it this way, where the stitching will, it's kind of the same idea, I guess, because I'm just cutting it out of the linen. You're not going to see the linen in the end. Probably not a lot of difference than in using the Solvay, other than, you get a chance to play with it a little bit. So I'm thinking he's going to go there. And so the only place that it's going to be tricky is over that lump that's there. Although in saying that, oh, look at that. That didn't even try. The tail is going where there's not a lump. Oh, how clever. Just sometimes things are just meant to happen, aren't they? There we go. All right, so the other thing that I'm going to do is give myself a little bit of a hand here. And so what I know, is they have some darker colouring sort of on the top of their head. That little eye is dark. He's going to have some whiskers. He'll need some outlining when I get to doing his, there'll be a bit of like shading under there, and probably here as well. A little bit of shading here. He's going to have some shading. So that's the way the sort of stitches will go, when I'm doing the thread, the thread painting, is that what I'll keep his stitches going sort of like across his back here. So some dark here, Yep, a little bit of dark under there. He'll have a little bit of dark. I'll bring that foot over. Oh, don't move that leaf. For goodness sakes, that's where his tail's got to go. And a little bit of dark down his tail, so that when I'm doing it, I'll remember when I'm stitching it I'm going to colour that in a bit darker. I did go look for some threads, so I found this sort of grey brown colour that I'll do on there. I found this sort of variegated, that was probably a dyed piece of creamy colour in amongst I've got an Orts jar of stuff. I've found this sort of like pale grey sort of colour that I think will be good for him. I need some pale pinks and things for his ears, so these were leftovers from an embroidery that I did last year, and some of those pinky browny colours will be fine for like in his ear. He's got a little bit of pink. If I just show you here, he's got a bit of pink in here. He's got a bit of pink in his ear and a little pink nose. So they're pink. Cool. All right. Well, this really is it. I'm gonna just head on in now to do this thread painting. I didn't think that I needed to share that with you. I'm just going to do this one video and then won't post it until I've finished him. I might put a bit of lace there. I haven't quite resolved that yet, but I decided that if I was going to put it anywhere, it was kind of going to go under the page. So it did a bit of a disappearing act in there. I think it looks all right like that. It's not making too big a statement, but I get to have the pleasure of the lace as well. Cool. All right. Really and truly, this is it. I'm going to go and I will post this as soon as I've done the possum. May not have finished tacking down all of the leaves. I'll just see how it goes. I'm hoping to do it for tomorrow, which will be Sunday. So hopefully that's when you get to see it. I've got lots of other videos in store for you to watch while I'm on my holiday. But for now, this really and truly is. See you later. Bye.